Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I thought I would give you all an update on my training progress about a month and a bit into 2025. So we're in the growing phase now. What that means is that we're in a surplus, and we will be in a surplus for most of this year, most of 2025. Well, at least that's a plan, unless we get a bit too fat and we need to pull it back a bit. But fingers crossed, we don't get too fat and we spend most of this year in a surplus, because I want to grow as much muscle as possible. And my coach wants me to be in this anabolic state where I'm in a surplus for as long as possible to grow as much muscle as possible. The thing is with natural lifters, especially without the help of anabolic steroids, natural lifters can't actually gain muscle that quickly. And if you can't gain that much muscle quickly, if you put on a lot of weight in a short amount of time, you're just going to be putting on fat. So because of that, I'm basically aiming for a very, very gradual weight gain in terms of number, as far as the number on the scale goes. The other thing with gaining weight slowly and not kind of overdoing it is that I can ensure that I'm in this kind of anabolic window for as long as possible, for as much of a year as possible, as opposed to getting too fat too quickly and gaining too much weight too quickly and then having to dial back. Because once you dial back and you're in that deficit, you're no longer really in that quote-unquote anabolic environment where your body has a surplus of calories to use towards building muscle and putting on new tissue and recovery as well. And obviously, when your calories go down, you're risking a drop in performance there. It doesn't always happen, but having more calories definitely helps with performance. So one of the things that I've been doing in this growing phase or off season is having cheat meals. Now, those of you that have watched my videos would know that I'm actually a foodie and I love eating. I love eating out. I love trying different cuisines.
What's up, you fat pig?
Mainly Asian cuisines and Japanese, but still, I just like food in general. And obviously that's a little bit tough if you want to fit that into your quote unquote meal plan, because, you know, your meal plan is something that you would think you have to stick to, and you should. Exercising a certain level of common sense is also very important. If I know that I'm going to be, let's say, having a curry, high carb and high fat, then what I'm going to do is have a bit less carbs early on in the day, but also fat. So I'll have a bit less peanut butter. I maybe won't have flax seeds with my cream of rice. Maybe I won't have some dark chocolate, which normally I do as part of my meal plan. So stuff like little adjustments and changes, kind of going ad hoc, on an ad hoc basis. The most important thing is it's not happening every single day. It is only happening once or twice a week. And it is kind of what I call a controlled chaos. Dumbbell rows. It's one of those exercises where it's really tough. A bit of a love-hate relationship with it, because when I hit like a PR, PB on it, I think, oh, it's such like an alpha macho exercise that you can go kind of heavy on relative to your other movements. But when you don't hit a PR, and you simply max reps or, God forbid, go down in weight or reps, it actually makes you feel quite sad because it's such a hard exercise. So fingers crossed today goes well. I didn't do dumbbell rows actually in my previous off season. So this is kind of like a new addition. Obviously I've got a new coach now, so things will be different anyways. Yeah, I remember I was starting out with like, I think 40 kilogram dumbbells. It just felt really awkward, because like, even when I did it like 3-4 years ago, I was doing it such that if I was rowing with my right, my left foot would be forward, so the dumbbell wouldn't hit my right foot. But this new coach has told me that I put my right foot forward when I'm rowing with my right to minimize torso rotation. which is great because then I'm actually working the lats in terms of needing to stabilize with it. Same goes with my core as well. I'm working the core because I can't just yank up and twist my torso anymore. And it's a bit better in terms of stability, locking in, driving, force output, and just better for the lower back. But what I felt really awkward was the dumbbell, when I'm going down, it keeps hitting my right leg, so my right leg's forward. So it took a while to get used to, but now I'm used to it and I'm kind of progressing on the movement. So it's a little bit more fun. I've got a Chinese coming up for dinner. So I'm very much looking forward to it. It's a bit of a shame it's going to come before the workout because the pump would have been crazy. Although saying that, I am quite pumped lately, especially on my push days. Push days are the time where I feel the pump the most. Pull days, not so much. Leg days, kind of mid. Pull days, yeah, backs especially, the body part where the pump I feel the least. Gonna do some curls for the girls. Moving on to some biceps. I don't know. I felt like my arms are kind of a weaker part of mine when I was on stage and kind of now as well, but I haven't actually met anyone who shares a similar sentiment to me. And maybe I just want bigger arms, which never really a bad thing, is it? I always felt like my arms were quite small. Not actually that strong on arms either, so maybe that feeds into it, feeds into the mindset a bit. But yeah, doing some curls, some preacher curls, that'll help grow some big arms. So, last exercise, we have some rear delt flies. Now, rear delts aren't a weak point of mine, which is why we can afford to do them last. They weren't, I believe, a weak point of mine when I was on stage, and they're not a weak point of mine now. Also, a lot of the rowing movement that I did earlier would have would have recruited the rear delts anyways. So at this point of the workout, my rear delts would have had plenty of stimulus. You should do what you want to improve on the most at the start of the workout because that's when you're the most fresh, you have the most energy, strongest, you've got zero fatigue, right? So you should prioritize doing those body parts first. A lot of the times, coincidentally, there are also the movements that one may hate the most. For example, if you really don't like rear delt flies, you might not do it as often. So then other body parts kind of improve at a quicker rate than your rear delts, and then over time they become your weak points. Or even if you do them of a proportional or similar amount of volume, the quality of the set might be a bit lower because you hate it, so you don't push as close to failure as other exercises. Or for example, when you get into the machine, you just want to get in and get out, finish your reps and get out, as opposed to actually really honing in on the stimulus, mind muscle connection, etc. A lot of little factors that add up over time. So if you have like a weak body part, I would always recommend doing it first in your workout. There's nothing wrong with getting a workout template off the internet, or there's nothing wrong with getting one off your buddy. A lot of them are really good, don't get me wrong. Template, however, is, as the name suggests, a template. It is subject to kind of revisions. It's subject to like customization. And that's when you might need to ask yourself, should I swap in and out some of the exercises? Should I reorder some? Or another big thing actually is different people have different genetics, right? So with different genetics comes certain body parts being able to grow with a lot less stimulus than other body parts relatively. So if you had someone with really good rear delt genetics versus someone with really bad rear delt genetics in terms of growing and softness, the one with the good genetics might be able to grow your rear delt 3 sets a week, 3 direct sets a week, whereas the one with bad might need 6 direct sets a week to get the similar amount of growth. But because of the way genetics play out, the one with bad rear delt genetics might have really good quad genetics. Then the one with good rear delt genetics might have bad leg genetics. So then the one with good leg genetics might only need like 5 working sets of quads to grow, and the other one might need 10. So like different things kind of come into play here. So, you know, a template is a template. You've got to make sure that you shape the template such that it works for you. Workout is all done. Pull day is all done and dusted. We are now in the posing room. Spyglass mode is activated. When my mic is on my glasses and not my vest, that means it's because it's about to come off. So that's what we're looking like at 83.2 kilograms in the morning. I am 5'11 and a half. I think we're still fairly lean. I've heard that I'm fairly lean. I don't actually think I'm that lean, but again, I am coming out of the show, so I'm never going to be as lean as I was in the show. But yeah, I've heard from third-party sources that I'm still fairly lean, which is good. That's kind of what I want, because that means that I can kind of have pretty much quite a long time to be in a surplus. So it's all good. I put on a story the other day whether I should do men's physique or not, and a lot of people said I should stick to classic, which, to be honest, is my kind of status quo. I love classic physique. I think my shape and flow suits classic physique in the natural world. But every once in a while I get a little bit tempted by men's physique, purely because it's like it's like a kid with a new toy. It's something I've never done before. It's an unknown. I don't know how I'll fare in it. Maybe I'll fare well, maybe I won't. But I know classic physique is where I belong. It's my bread and butter. But men's physique is just a little bit tempting. So who knows, if I learn how to pose men's physique, how to do men's physique poses, and I actually look good doing them, then it might be a completely, it's not completely out of the question, but for now, classic physique it is. And yeah, 2026 is when we will hop on stage again. So I will see you all on stage in 2026.